Somebody, right? That's a knee, right?
Good afternoon, stand up. This can help your training. How do we improve our training? We improve our training through a conscious effort. We have to have a plan of what we're doing. Begin correctly to end correctly. That's a good principle to adapt. Begin correctly, incorrectly. Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. You can't do it slow. You can't do it fast. Very important concepts. Now, another thing I wanted to talk to you about is, the awareness. You want to be aware at all times, especially today. When you go out of the building here, when you go in your car in the parking lot, you have to have acute awareness because of the dangers that lurk out there. We have to be our own first responders. We cannot rely on anyone else. We have to be our first responders, especially family people who share their family responsibilities. We have to be prepared to do that. Now, what I want you to consider in your training is to really accentuate your movements in the sense of elaborate your movement, do big movements. Why? Because under a real stress situation, which is called adrenal stress, fight or flight, when you go into that mode, you lose a great deal of dexterity, flexibility, acuity. You don't see as well, you don't think as well, you don't aim the firearm as well if you're a police officer. You just don't do things as well. So what I try to do is lower the curve so that you don't react as badly under adrenal stress as the average person by doing bigger movements. If you do an average movement under adrenal stress, it becomes below average. If I do a really extended movement under adrenal stress, it might be just right. You follow me? I want to go more is less, in other words, in this particular scenario. So just some ideas on training. Be aware everywhere. Don't take anything for granted. Don't walk around looking at your cell phone and not be expected to be targeted. It's an easy target. Don't make yourself a target. Best thing to do, an ounce of prevention for the time to kill. You know, where you go, what you do, what the circumstances are. We have a lot of that in our control, and I would highly recommend to be discerning on what you do, where you go, what you say, who you hang with. That's my personal opinion. That's what I do. That's what I've done with them. You know, you want to avoid those situations. If situations come up, we want to be prepared to handle them. So we have to be the best we can at what we're doing. Does that make sense? Nice. Very good. So just strive to improve your training. A long time, when I first started back in the 60s, Kyochi Tohei, who was one of the most famous teachers of all times, was that we started the first dojo in the state of Ohio, although I lived in Pennsylvania, I was right next door. And we had Kyochi Tohei and Yamada Sensei at our dojo for a week, I'm sorry, and which was unbelievable, you know. And he was just so charismatic and so strong and influential, you know, with the people. And it was a great honor to have that training. But he always said, when you're in a confrontation, you have to remove from your opponent's mind the will to attack. You have to be able to launch deterrence to negate their aggression. You change their mind. Now, when I talk about atimi a lot, because if you watch most of atimi, you'll see I'm saying that there's 98% atimi. Now, I've been doing this a long time. I've done other martial arts. The minor drawback initially is when you start showing atimi to people, they forget the manipulative aspect and focus only on the atimi. So we're short-circuiting here. Now, if that you just want to do the atimi, then you do the atimi, you know. But people forget about the Aikido aspect. It's all Aikido, but that aspect of Aikido because they're allowing the atimi to take precedence. It's a means to an end. What's the reason for atimi? Anyway.
So there are balance.
Distract the mind.
One of the ideas, stop their balance or interrupt. Remember, we need position. 2 is kazushi, if I'm pronouncing it right, which means destroying their balance. And then 3 is technique or appropriate response. When we train in the dojo, usually a kata, which is a prearranged movement. And an appropriate response is a jiwa, a freestyle, where you do what you know. Remember, you cannot do anything or perform anything that you do not have an internal mastery of. You can't expect to rise to the occasion. You're going to fall to the level of your training. You will not rise to the occasion. You can only fall to the level of your training. That's it. So have a very high standard of training. Does that make sense? Hold yourself to a higher standard. And one thing that Toy said, what we call a biohack today, he says when you watch me teach or Yamada teach, he says, tell yourself that you have to teach that later tonight to someone. And your acute awareness and the way that you absorb that is going to be greatly enhanced by that predetermined mental flow. Does that make sense? You're going to watch it with more click because you've bought into it. You have a connection to it. So you want to connect to your training and be involved in your training. I also recommend, with your teacher's permission, to watch good, solid, orthodox Aikido. There's a lot of it out there. There's a lot of variety, and that's the nature of Aikido. It should be different. I'm me. I'm 6'3", 220 pounds. I'm going to do Aikido like that. You're going to do Aikido like you do it, and it's all the same. It's all right. You follow me as long as you stay within the proverbs or the orthodoxy. What we're doing here, not deviating from it, and that can look 1,000 different ways and still be correct. Does that make sense? So, style is, we should be different styles. Every snowflake's different, you know. That's the very nature of it. But have the intent to be the best you can be the best partner you can be. When you train, have not only your partner's benefit as being primary and your benefit being primary. When we bow, what do? We show respect to each other. We're here to help each other, to build each other. But by the same token here, we're here to keep each other strong and to have good training, not just let anything happen and, well, that's what it looks like Aikido. No, we're not playing that. We want real Aikido. Make sense? Okay, good. Make some groups. Entering with your partner. If you see her, and when I do it, I start with this, okay? That gets their attention. Now, I meant this when I was talking to the group. A teaming is a distraction. In addition, it's part of the self-defense. Any strike, and why I tell you that you have to have your hands up to protect your head all the time, is you have several areas. Chin here, side here, behind ears here, anything like this, you know, direct blow like that could actually, you can lose consciousness. That's how easy. Believe me, the two of the most common attacks on the street right now is somebody rushing in with an overhand right, similar to like the Okomanuchi and or a headlock. Those are the most two common attacks right now. So you should have some defense against those and be aware of those things and be able to modulate, be able to work. But it all starts with just generally good habits. You approach it me, hi. I got good position here, bang, here. You can finish. But see, I get control. I want, as I said, if you're looking for me, behind you. Okay, you want to get behind, have Shingaku all the time. So first movement here, and then extend. Slow it down, everybody, and just do that particular extension for a minute or two. Please. Thank you. Just these movements every day, all the time. You know, I used to, when I was in college, I worked on the road crew, and a lot of times there was nobody coming. I was the chief flagsman, right? And that's a boring job. So I was on the roads a lot of the time, and I'm like, doing all my Aikido movements, you know. So I would do them anytime. You know, do them anytime you get a minute. You have to be involved in your motion, in your movement, in your study, I would highly recommend taking, if you take 5 minutes a day for the next year and focus on one aspect of your training, you'll make huge leaps and bounds. Focus attention on what you want to do. You have to be immersed in what you want to do and be with the best that you can train. It's very, very important. You're going to become what you're exposed to. So I appreciate you all coming to our seminar and the great variety of talent at all levels that we have here. It's very great. The most important aspect in Aikido, and I'm celebrating my 60th year in Aikido today. Not today, but in June 6th. I'm only 49, so I'm not sure how the heck that happened, you know what I mean? But nonetheless, I can tell you, over the years, the camaraderie, getting together with the people, the summer camps, the winter camps, the individual seminars, and the training is just, it's good. It's good. Oh, my wife's cousin asked me to conduct this. Andy, do you ever think about retiring? I said, no. No, he said, that's a great answer, because he doesn't want to retire either. But what I'm saying is, if you're immersed in what you do, and it brings joy to you, the people in Aikido resonate to a particular frequency. That's why you're here. If you didn't, you wouldn't be here. That's why you don't find troublemakers for sitting in Aikido or unscrupulous people in Aikido. Because, you know, the darkness cannot stand the light, I can tell you. So it's very important. There's so much value in your Aikido training aside from the self-defense, but it becomes, again, metaphorically a good pattern for how we live our lives. Aaron? That's one of the best controls that you can get on takedown on someone's system. Okay, please stop. You can do that. It's a beautiful technique for 2 hands on one, because it really entraps your partner. You can be very successful at doing this. Can you get down any faster? Slow. Yeah, okay. So, right there. Yeah, I'm very situated in here. Now, I have my levers, and as I said, I'm going to be perpendicular here. So it's very important. I have the arm here, I have the hands here. And he's cinched into me here, so then I just roll this in, keep my elbows close to my body. Okay, practice, please. Thank you very much. I'm a stickler on position. Position, balance technique. Position, balance technique. Okay? So in this case here, I'm involving, I enter here. Okay? Now again, I talk about matching. So by the way that I move my body, he's compelled through Masuki to stay on. So I'm going to bring him around, keep him revolving out here, and catch his arm here. And keep the leverage here. Okay. You do not end this technique in a hami, period. No, this way. There are many times, and it took me a long time because I was been in the hami for 55 years before I learned this, that there are other foot methods that are obviously feasible to do. And in this case, it's better to be perpendicular to your partner there. Why? Because this right here, if I come up here to do this, when I do this, my elbows are down. my shoulder's done. I'm bringing these in. Now, my hips bend, my knees bend, my ankles move, my toes come up. Everything is working in unison. I've got all these levers working for me. And that's the combined power in the position also. Okay? So slow down on that end.
From a knee. Ready? That's a knee. Ready?
Thank you very much. Well,